China's big week, 3 satellites on 2 rockets into orbit. NASA's contamination guidelines protecting Earth and our planets from spreading germs. And it's opposition time. Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn all lined up for some awesome astronomy nights. It's Tuesday, July 14, 2020. I'm Matt Miller. This is Talking Science on Trek Zone.
With the latest science and space news 5 days a week across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts and YouTube. This is Talking Science with Dr. Brad Tucker and Matt Miller.
And it is a very happy Talking Science Tuesday to Dr. Brad Tucker.
How's it going?
Really good, really good. What a week of headlines that we've got this week. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, lots of exciting things, both happening from down here on Earth and up there in space, us looking at space.
Well, we can find you on social media, on Facebook, Dr. Brad Tucker, and on Twitter, btucker22. Trek Zone's all over social media as well. Just search for Trek Zone. And I'm on Twitter, at Miramat86. Brad, let's dive in.
Talking Science Headlines.
Alrighty, Brad, into the headlines of the week, and it's a busy time for Mars missions. Well, it's not busy for the Red Planet yet, but it certainly is going to be. In the next few weeks, the United Arab Emirates, the USA, and China are launching missions to the Red Planet.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a traffic jam getting to Mars, to be honest. The UAE is getting a ride on a Japanese rocket. China's launching their own rover, and US will go on an Atlas V, I think. Perseverance launching a rover to Mars. It could have been even busier with the European Rosalind Franklin rover getting there, but as we talked about a few months ago, that was delayed partly due to coronavirus, so it won't make the trip. They'll have to wait. They'll have to watch its friends make the trip for it.
In one regard, I feel for our friend Glenn Nagel at the Tidbit Bella Tracking Station, who's going to have to keep an eye on all of these things and get all of their transmissions back to the respective mission controls.
Lots of things to monitor and go, and yes, mostly things shouldn't happen in between leaving and getting there, but things can happen, and then as they start to kind of park, it's like planes, right? Busy at takeoff and landing, and when you're cruising, hopefully it's smooth sailing, but you still have to pay attention and still work to be done.
It is 2020 after all.
That's right, exactly.
Something that came up overnight, it is the 45th anniversary of the Apollo-Soyuz docking. Such a historic moment in space travel. An
important part of cooperation in terms of the US and Russia, and in the height of the Cold War, working together to move space, and directly led to a decade later the planning for the International Space Station, which now is a big part of space exploration. And because of that initial movement during the Apollo-Soyuz showed that it could work, and they were stronger together.
Talking Science Stories of the Week.
And Brad, first up for our stories of the week, China's had a big week. 3 satellites launched on 2 rockets.
China is a growing space power, so to speak, as we've talked about. And this period just goes to how quickly they can turn around missions, both building the satellites, getting the rockets prepped, the range, I guess, of offering, so to speak, the different types of rockets they can have, and their willingness to invest quickly and efficiently in the growing space sector, not just for practical reasons, but space exploration. And this kind of period just shows, they're really kind of taking it seriously, that they are walking the walk, so to speak.
Part of these missions are to build the Chinese space station. They're not allowed on the International Space Station, so they're building their own. They're striking it out on their own.
That's right. They have a very ambitious goal of building their own space station. And it's partially to show that they can. Even though the Russians and Americans have, worked together on the International Space Station with other countries, they still both built their own first. There was Mir, there was Skylab. This allows China more flexibility, their own interests and, science and those sorts of things. Again, it's to show and put them on par with the US and Russia, that they can kind of do everything they do. And as we talked about in the highlights, also launching a mission to Mars as well. It's showing that they are just as powerful isn't the right word, but as advanced and willing to do the things in space, again, both for practical terms, but also space exploration. And they're taking it seriously.
Fantastic, Brad. Well, it's going to be very exciting and one to watch. China's Big Week. Our full chat on that one, episode number 407 on podcasting. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, click the card in the top of the video to beam straight over.
You can get social with Trek Zone. Australia's unofficial home of Star Trek is everywhere you are. Just search for Trek Zone.
And Brad, our next story of the week is all about space contamination. NASA has unveiled some more directives. This time it's to protect the Moon, Mars, but also Earth as well.
Yeah, look, no one's going to deny we need that right now. And this is something that has been in the works that they issued back when they commissioned a report a few years ago about contamination in space and our susceptibility to it. And as you said, it's both what we call forwards and backwards contamination. Us going out and contaminating places and us bringing things and contaminating Earth back and trying to show that we need to have new policies, new protocols, and kind of tighten up what we do in space exploration.
And everyone can find episode number 408 in our podcasting series for Brad and I continuing this discussion about space contamination. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, click the card in the top of the video to beam over right now. Alrighty, Brad, our last story of the week. Planetary opposition. Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. They're all lined up. They're all looking good. If you're watching The Fifth Element, it's a bad thing to have them in opposition, but it's a good thing for amateur astronomy.
Look, opposition's a good thing for sending missions to Mars. That's why all the missions to Mars, as we talked about in the highlights, are headed, because that means by opposition, they are kind of on the same side of the sun. The best way to think about it is, the planets are like cars going around the racetrack. You want them to be on the same side of the racetrack because that makes it closer and therefore the trip a lot quicker. And as you said, then to us, more tools on Earth, it means that they are appearing clear and bright and a little bit bigger in the skies to look at. And so it's a great chance to see these planets this month in the skies.
And you don't need anything expensive to see these planets, given how everything lines up. It's quite easy to spot them with the naked eye even.
The trick to finding planets is planets don't twinkle. So stars twinkle, and stars twinkle because of turbulence in the sky. So the same reason airplanes shake is the same reason stars twinkle. Well, planets, because there's multiple points of light coming into our atmosphere, our eye kind of blends it together and we don't see it as the twinkling. And at that point, then we see it as these bright, solid points of light. So if you see a bright object and it's not twinkling, the chances are it's actually a planet.
And of course, everyone can catch our full chat on planetary oppositions, Brad, by jumping over to episode 409. If you're watching on YouTube, click the card in the top of the video to beam over right now. Well, thanks, Brad. Looking forward to diving into the stories of the week on the next 3 eps, and we're going to go live and uncut in episode 410. It's another exciting week of Talkin' Science.
Take care.